Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, we're talking in Just Like That. You guys, can you believe I'm still reeling about that finale? And then watching that documentary, it just completely blows my mind. So this is going to be a really fun video. You're going to notice it's a really long video. And that is because we have a lot to discuss, but also we will be live chatting throughout this video. So if you're here at the 7 o'clock time, hey, yay, you're here to live chat. That's awesome. If you're watching this some other time, at home, whatever, with your feet up, that's cool too. I got so much information in this video. You can actually see our live chats. You can comment and I will read them all because I get it. Some people can't make that time. No big deal. Don't stress. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually super excited about this video because we have lots to discuss. Some of the things that we're going to discuss in this video, of course, we're going to start out with the seeds planted and what never came to fruition, just how they screwed this whole thing up, right? Our very talented Whitney G is back. She is one of us who comments the best things about all this drivel that they're handing us, but she writes parody songs, and she wrote, I Didn't Go to Rehab, so I'll play that for you. Then we're going to talk about the episodes 1 and 2 again briefly and talk about how they screwed those up versus how they, how they got us through the finale, where we started, where we ended up, that sort of thing. We're going to be, Whitney also wrote a Michael Patrick King Started the Fire song that's fantastic. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to do an interview with Miranda Hobbs-Wig. We've got it all. This is the episode to watch. I'm so excited. So just to keep you in the loop, this weekend I got more and Just Like That coming out. Watch for Midnight Toast. That's my podcast I do with my husband Jay every week. You guys, I am making him watch the finale, and he's not watched any of the new series. He's only seen one episode of the original series, and so that should be fun to have that conversation with him. I've got more Writer's Room podcasts coming out on episode 9 and episode 10. Can't wait to listen to that. So much stuff. I think I'm doing another Sex and the City movie coming out, so much stuff. Check back lots. Next week, Real Housewives All-Stars comes back, so I'm going to try to hit that. Love is Blind 2 is coming out, so I'm going to do probably like an overview, a general recap of that. Not necessarily scene by scene, but just talking about what's going on the show. You guys, I'm so excited. That Fake Heiress Netflix special's coming out. I'm obsessed. It's that German fake heiress and that whole storyline, so you better believe I will be talking about that as well. So let's get into this great video. I'm so excited, but first, check out my merch, link below. I got Midnight Toast, Justice for Steve. It's a load of pants. Or find me on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. Okay, let's talk about the seeds that were planted that never came to fruition, that never went anywhere, that made no sense with the storyline. All the things that have been irking us, right? Ugh, they have been irking me. You guys did such a great job submitting all of your thoughts on this. I had a list. You guys helped me add to my list. I'm very excited to talk about all of these things. I do want your comments to know what else besides this list bothered you, which the most annoying things on this list were, that sort of thing. I do love to read the comments. I say that every time, but I mean it. I do love to read the comments. It's like my favorite part. Also, I posted under the community tab. If you don't know what that is, go to my YouTube page. You'll see a little community button toward the top. Click on that. Look at my post. This incredible journalist reached out to me. She's so sweet. She wrote a piece about this community we've built. And it's one of, I believe, 3 pieces coming out about, this channel, this community, about the group of us that hate watch this show. One of the articles actually talks about this list specifically and all the discrepancies that they noticed as well. It's just so much fun. I'm very, very excited. So do click on the link because I really want to get that article, have traction, and draw more attention to this community because I'm really proud of what we've built. Okay. Let's talk about this list. So the number one thing on the list that I had written down first and that I got the most comments on is the storyline of Miranda's drinking. You guys, how many seeds were planted about how serious her drinking problem was for the first 3 episodes, 4 episodes, whatever it was. All the episodes where we got to see airplane bottles of booze in her backpack. We got to see her drinking at Lily's recital. We got to see her go into the bar before it opened, and I think it was like 10:45. It opened at 11, and she said, "I'll wait." So clearly she had a pretty serious drinking problem. And yet, after her encounter with Che, you guys, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. She just, we see her laughing along to Che's it's her comedy special. And and then she immediately dumps the alcohol down the drain. She makes up her mind that that's enough and it's cured. I had so many people reach out to me saying how offensive you found the storyline. So many of us have had struggles with different kind of addictions, and that's just not a thing. You don't just say, okay, I'm done with that. I'm no therapist or whatever, but maybe if you had a minor addiction, but like I have trouble quitting Diet Coke, and sometimes I can just give it up cold turkey, sometimes I can't. But when you have a major addiction like this, and that's serious, and to the point where she's having to carry it with her wherever she goes and has this big problem, it's going to take more than a finger bang in a kitchen to get past that, no? Okay, in no particular order, the next one, Gloria. So Gloria is in episode 2, right? Little black dress. She's at the funeral. And first of all, does she look familiar to you? She should, because she played Joey's mom on Friends. Didn't know that either until I was researching for this. But okay, let's talk Gloria. Episode 2 for me was the turning point. I was so-so on episode 1, but if you listen to my recap, I was trying to be optimistic. Episode 2 is where I kind of just let it fly and I just had to tell the truth. And I said, I wanted to like this so much, but I think they've handed us a pile of garbage. And I was right, and I'm very happy about that. But I really wanted it to be good. But anyway, so I got so much crap from people at that point. Now I have a wonderful community. You guys are amazing. Thank you for that. But at that point, I was getting crap because I was one of the only ones saying, you guys, this sucks. It's awful. What's going on? And I even pointed to Gloria. I was like, what is the point of Gloria? She was overreacting during the funeral. Yes, it's a funeral. I get it. But she was crying so loudly that Carrie even turned around and looked at her like, what the hell? She was overacting. Here she is Joey's mom on Friends. She was overacting so much and really having this big reaction. And I called it out at the time, and I got a lot of comments saying, oh, no, it's just because we don't know the full storyline yet. Like, hold your horses, girl. It's not bad yet. Haha. We just don't know. They implied like Big had secrets, right? That because Gloria even went to the will reading, which again, in hindsight, why? Why did she need to be there? But as Big's assistant, she implied that she maybe knew some things. So I thought for sure things were going to come out about him. Say what you will about having to cut him out of the show and how they've had to deal with that, fine. But this character just makes no sense at all. Also in that category, what was the point of Susan Sharon? Again, no sense at all. At the funeral, acting crazy, over the top, which I get she was in the original series too, a lot. But no sense at all. What was the point of bringing her back? What was the point of having her at the funeral? What was the point of any of it? Why bring her back? It just doesn't make sense to me. It's just another one of those seeds that were planted that went absolutely nowhere. So this was probably the second most commented thing behind Miranda's drinking problem that I got. Miranda's Cleveland trip. No sense at all. So the idea was that she was breaking up her marriage of 20 plus years, splitting up the family where they have a son. Ew. And in the same day, literally, we see her in the cab and she's doing, I'm in a rom-com, Carrie. So she talks about Che is in Cleveland doing their comedy concert. Ugh. And same day that she breaks up the family, instead of staying to figure it out, maybe how to co-parent or how to work it out with Steve or whatever, be amicable, I guess, with Steve, whatever it is. Nope. They've written her like a teenage girl and all she can do is just run away and be with Che. It doesn't make any sense. And not only that, they did this here, and then even in the preview for the following episode, they made it seem like, they tricked us all. They made it seem like she'd be banging on the door at Che's place. We all assumed that Che would be with somebody else. It's not what happened. Whatever, it's fine. They kind of implied some stuff happened when she knocks on the door. But you guys, that's not even kind of what happened, meaning that was Che's place in New York. That wasn't even, she didn't go to Cleveland. Or if she did, they never talk about it again. Why did they hook us in, or not even hook us in? Why did they throw this Cleveland thing at us? Why do we need to know that? What did it have to do with anything? Nothing ever came of it. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, the next one. Big leaves Natasha money. So again, at the will reading, we find out that Big has left Natasha $1 million. Carrie goes to find Natasha to find out why. I said at the time it makes no sense at all. I got a lot of responses saying, hey, she probably, she alludes to having sons. I wonder if one of her sons, or both, or whatever, is big. Sorry. Well, nothing ever came of that. And then Natasha says, I don't want it. Leave it to charity. And that's that. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't make any sense. Why did he leave her the money? Carrie starts stalking her again like she did in the original series because the writers have no storylines. They got to dust off things like that. And we get no closure whatsoever. He's just left her $1 million. Nothing else is explained. Oh, okay, great. Okay, the next one. Carrie's physical therapist. Remember the hot physical therapist? Yep, never went anywhere. This is her ahoy matey outfit that I kept calling out because she's wearing a captain's jacket and she's wearing these stupid shoes to physical therapy after a hip replacement. This was her physical therapist. They had kind of a flirty flirt. It went nowhere. There was no point. I don't know why we needed to see her there. The storyline made zero sense at all, except for to say, hey, Carrie's old, she needed a new hip. Okay, the next one, Carrie's podcast producer. I put podcast in quotations on purpose. Now, before you say, Jen, that did go somewhere. You know what? You're right. I made this list before I watched the finale just to see if anything had changed, and I left this in here on purpose because this story makes no sense. First of all, he is very hot. The part that makes no sense is you can't call into a podcast. That's not how podcasts work. You could have a recorded message for a podcast. You can't actively call a podcast. I know, I listen to 1,000 of them. Like Paul Scheer, for instance, he'll pick up recordings and respond to them. Great. That's not what they have Carrie doing. She's doing more of a live radio show. So it just makes no sense. Okay. It makes no sense that they had her dating the teacher. Fine. You want to get Carrie out there dating? Whatever. Like 3 months after her husband dies? Whatever. And don't even get me started on the timeline. Fine. But then nothing happened there. So then she ends up smooching on this guy. What? It doesn't make any sense. Believe me, I think this guy is hot and I want to smooch on him too. Don't tell Jay, but it just doesn't make any sense. Okay, the next thing, Stanford. That storyline makes no sense. So they feed us this BS that he's gone to Tokyo. He's run off with his TikTok influencer client. He's left his friends behind. He's left Anthony behind. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, to step back for a moment, I will say that I understand that they had to been in a terrible situation. He had been filming up until, I believe they said on the documentary, maybe the day before or just days before he passed away. That's a terrible situation. I mean, that's terrible all the way around. Whatever they had to do, fine. Okay, I'm mad at the storyline, but I'm not even overly mad at that. What I'm mad at is how disrespectfully they handled his character. Why couldn't we have a funeral for him? They treat the audience like shit throughout this whole series. Why did they think we couldn't handle that too? Even if you didn't want to go funeral route, fucking break the fourth wall for a minute and just say, hey, this is somebody we've loved and we've lost, and we just want to acknowledge it here. Something. If I was part of his family, I would be so mad at the way that they handled him passing and leaving the show. So he runs off and he's never mentioned again, and it's just terrible and it's disrespectful. I pointed out in the finale, they continue to use these fake texts with Samantha because they know the audience likes Samantha and they can milk that. But yet, Stanford / Willie Garson wanted to be there and wanted to be part of the show, and yet they could have done that with him, right? Maybe where he was texting and she acknowledges how sad it all is, something to pay more tribute, and this was not it. Okay, what about Harry's colonoscopy? Now, if it had been said one line in passing, I probably wouldn't think about it. That's not what happened. We heard about it 100,000 times in this episode, to the point where she made him reschedule it so she could, I'm not even kidding, you guys. I mean, I know you know, but I'm just saying it's ridiculous to even say it. So she could knock on doors around her building to find people of color to invite to her dinner party. How crazy is that? So it set it up like something was coming. I had predicted, oh gosh, something's going to happen to Harry because he missed his colonoscopy. Nope. Never went back to that storyline. Made no sense at all. Made a huge big deal about it. Nothing ever came of it. You know what I actually thought was going to happen? Remember when she bumped into him on the tennis court and he got kind of hurt for a second? I thought, oh, he's going to have to go to the doctor and we're going to find out he's got something. And because he missed that appointment, he didn't know about it. It's just something that I thought. But nope, that's even more clever than the writers would ever give us. So nope, don't have that. Speaking of the tennis court, how about Charlotte's tennis court meltdown? Did that make any sense at all? No, it didn't. I believe the whole thing was set up just so she could deliver the line, sorry, not sorry, or sorry, as Demi Lovato would say, sorry, not sorry. It was just ridiculous. You guys, in the documentary, we got to see so much of the stupid tennis stuff, and she had a tennis trainer, and she got to pick from a million outfits which to wear, and she and the costumer chose this one, and it's just so stupid. That stupid, I hate it. It looks like an old-timey swim costume, that dress she wore in the tennis outfit. Okay, the next thing that went absolutely nowhere was Carrie's book. We saw her writing it. We saw her meeting with her editor about it. They even discussed covers for it and trying to hurry up and get it out for Oprah's book club. We even saw Carrie go on date with the teacher because her editor thought it'd be a good idea so they could put it in the book. And then nothing happens. At the end, she's doing her own podcast and taking calls, even though it makes no sense at all. What happened to the book? Okay, also in the Natasha episode, remember that Carrie goes through Big's wallet. She finds a Pinkberry card that she didn't even know he liked Pinkberry. She found a picture of a dog marked Gogi, and she couldn't get into his computer. So we all guessed a million times, oh, that's got to be the password to the computer. You guys, nothing happened with that. We never circled back. We have no idea what's in the computer. Don't know who this dog is. It makes no sense at all. Okay, Carrie's hip. Again, nonsensical. We find out that she thinks she's having, back problems, had trouble on the stairs. Nope, it's her hip. It's a congenital issue. It's just a way to call her old, because that's the writer's favorite thing to do, is to make us all feel terrible about ourselves. So she had a hip replacement, and then miraculously, 3 months later, again, timeline makes no sense. It could have been 6 months, who cares? She's wearing these shoes and painting a house. I've never had hip surgery. I don't think that's how it works. The beeping in Carrie's apartment. It is my personal belief that they built this big, stupid, green screen, nonsensical, not warm apartment, put her in this stupid hat, all just to have the beeping play out. Now, a lot of you have theories that it was meant to be a scene where Big was trying to communicate with her. Maybe it was. You couldn't do anything else with this. You couldn't explain the beeping. Did we need the beeping? We did not need the beeping. So irritating. I almost added to the list, so I'll just add it here. Another thing you guys pointed out is that when she thinks it's the dishwasher and she slams it shut, the whole island moves violently. And that's not how kitchen islands work. They shouldn't move like that, especially in a multi-million-dollar apartment. It doesn't make any sense. Since we're here anyway, let's settle in and talk about this apartment. You guys, this apartment made no sense. Not only is a horrible green screen monstrosity, it just doesn't make any sense as a storyline. She bought this apartment as a change. I believe she said she wanted to get downtown, whatever. She bought this apartment to have a change of scenery. Fine. Okay, I get it. But then nothing happens. We see her in it. The time is beeping. I can't even remember if we saw her in it after that. Nothing happens here. She goes to storage to get things for it, but we never actually see her move into it. It doesn't make any sense. She just decides she hates it, tells the girls at lunch, tells Seema. Seema's like, well, we'll sell it. Okay. She's talking like it's like a shirt she bought that she hates. Yeah, sure, just exchange it, whatever. That's not how it works with multi-million-dollar apartments. Or if it does, it must be nice. I thought they were trying to be more relatable. How's that working out? I could have just left this as Che because Che doesn't make sense at all. But if you want to get specific, the "you're not my girlfriend" makes no sense at all. Also, I almost put Che's "I didn't know you were married" or "I didn't know you weren't in a..." Oh, that doesn't make sense. Not in a not open relationship. You know what I mean. You know what she said. Okay. So it just doesn't make sense. Che went from saying, "You're not my girlfriend" to they're just always together. We didn't see the Cleveland trip. Miranda is a stage 5 clinger showing up at Che's apartment, bringing cookies, being needy and obnoxious. Hello, teeth. It just doesn't make any sense. And then we go from that to what? She's going to move to Los Angeles with Che for a while? It just doesn't make any sense. We didn't go anywhere. We didn't get to see Cleveland, which maybe that's for the best, but they just went from 0 to 100 and we're just supposed to accept it, and that's not how this works. And yet with Steve, who they've actually built storylines with, they're like, nah, fuck it. Let's not even put him in the last episode. Okay, got a lot of comments about this one. Miranda is going to school / getting a new career. So a lot of you had things to say about her being, a 50-something-year-old partner in a prestigious law firm, having gone to Ivy League school. It's feasible that maybe she wanted to change careers. It's very strange that she's going back to school like this, and strange that she's going for an internship. I had so many funny comments about, well, no wonder I can't get an internship. This, if she's an applicant, it just doesn't make any sense at all. And not only that, she's so quick to abandon it, even though all season we've had to suffer through her these awkward, I say it, we didn't even get it all season. We got part of the season where she'd deal with school, but then it just became about her strange relationship with the professor. Now, the documentary did point out that they were going to be love interests at one point, and I kind of got that vibe too, but they ended up changing it to Che. But I guess they were too lazy to write new stuff, so they still had them hanging out together, because I kind of got that vibe too. Okay, what about Anthony's plastic surgery appointment? Did that make any sense at all? It was just another way to say, hey, you're old, Carrie, you're old. Oh, you're here for plastic surgery? You're old, Carrie. I mean, it's just a way to make us feel terrible, right? All of us that grew up watching it, whatever stage in your life you were when you watched it, to come back now, it just makes you feel awful. But this didn't go anywhere. Anthony was there for an appointment. We never heard anything else. It didn't carry any storylines. It didn't do anything to progress anybody. Just served to show us that Carrie got older. But also, I said it at the time, I'll say it here again. If any doctor looks at you and tells you during an examination, I don't care what it's for, that you're hot, like he did with Anthony, you need to get up and run out of that room because something is seriously wrong. That is not a thing. Your doctor should not be telling you you're hot. Now, I love this one. I got this note from you guys. It's minor, but it's there. The Jackie storyline makes no sense. At the beginning of the season, it implied that Jackie and Chloe, the lady on the left, had been hooking up. Well, then, all of a sudden, it goes from that to Carrie calls Jackie one night, finds out he's living with Smoke, and then we see Jackie and Smoke get married. So again, storylines that went nowhere, that made no sense. It just didn't add anything to anybody's story. Okay, Carrie and Samantha's text chain. I guess storyline, it would make sense. Michael Patrick King is bragging about figuring out how to have them communicate without communicating in the documentary. He makes me want to barf. I think I said it before. One of you guys called him an evil elf, and that's evil elf on the shelf, and that's literally all I can think about with him. But this storyline makes no sense. It's not in Samantha's character to do this. It doesn't really go anywhere. We kind of get implied in the last episode, oh, let's go meet for drinks because Carrie's in Paris, Samantha's in London. But then we hear nothing else. Nothing comes of it that we're aware of. It doesn't go anywhere. It's like they knew that we'd be pissed, so they're going to throw us a Samantha bone, but they handled it so poorly it just didn't help anything or go anywhere or make any sense at all. Okay, and finally, what is a comedy concert? You guys, I had to include that one because I had so many submissions of this. But you're right, what is a comedy concert? Why is Che the only comedian? Why is Che singing in the last episode? Why does Che do any of this? It doesn't make any sense. Why is Miranda giving up her career that she's worked basically her whole life for just to go be a groupie in California? What is a comedy concert? I love that list. I actually had so much fun putting it together. That's where I need your help. Comment below. Let me know if there's anything I left off that you would have included. Oh, I probably will make a separate video responding to or showing all the comments I got, because I got some great one, you guys, about the last episode. So I don't know when that'll go up. Bear with me if you've already seen it, if I've already put it up. But so many comments saying it didn't make sense that Carrie didn't talk about the burger sticky note breakup when the quote-unquote podcast was asking about worst breakup. When she had to throw out her husband died. You know she loves to do that. Ugh, Carrie. Anyway, didn't make any sense. Yeah, okay. Let's move into something more fun. So we all remember Whitney G. She posted our other Backstreet Boys, I Don't Want That Che, which was so clever. Well, now she's back with a new hit called I Didn't Have to Go to Rehab. Now, it's set to Amy Winehouse's song, and I freaking love this song. I think she did a fantastic job. She's so talented. I would ask you, please take a minute when this video is over, go find Whitney and hit that subscribe button. She is just trying to launch her channel. You know, I'm all about helping other channels any way I can. It's hard to get started, so do hit that subscribe button for her. You know, give her the watch the video again, play them all. Like, just hit thumbs up. You know, let's support one of our own, because she is. That's how I found her, was in this group saying really funny things about the show. So let's take a listen to I Didn't Have to Go to Rehab.
I didn't have to go to rehab on this show. I didn't do jack. How did I bounce back? Don't know. It didn't take no time. Put out my booze and now I'm fine. No way for me to go to rehab on this show. I'd rather be at home with Jay. No need to tape or to face. But there's nothing you can teach me that I can learn from something good played. Maybe I was cute in class, 'cause now my problems in the past. I didn't have to go to rehab on this show. Didn't do jack. How did I bounce back? Don't know. Didn't take no time. Put out my booze and now I'm fine. No way for me to go to rehab on this show. I don't ever wanna drink again. There's comedy concerts to attend. But I might have slipped in Cleveland. Just kidding, I never actually went. Maybe this will rewind my brain, but my friends don't seem to mind. I've gone insane. Didn't have to go to rehab on this show. I Didn't have to go to rehab on this show. No, I didn't have to go to rehab on this show.
Oh my gosh, you guys, how talented is she? I'm so jealous. I love the lyrics. I love that she took her time to do this. I'm so excited. I'm excited about this one, and in a little while I'll play her next one, which is fabulous. But please do give her that subscribe and thumbs up because I really want to help her get her channel off the ground. She deserves it. She's fantastic. She's one of us. We love her. Thank you, Whitney, for that. Okay, let's jump into the next part of this video. Now, I have got my recap for episode 1 up. I'm going to try to treat it like a writer's room. I'm going to play, we're not going to listen to the whole thing. We'll listen to parts of it and kind of talk about what was going on then versus what we got in the end because I'm very curious to compare the two. So you're going to hear me recap the first episode, but I'm going to be pausing it and again giving my thoughts, and we're going to talk about where they started versus where they ended. And don't worry, it's not going to get boring. We're going to keep it fun and funny, and then we'll move on to something else. You guys, it's so hard. I love the show. I love the original so much. I was obsessed with it. So this is funny. This is my first episode. I was recapping the series, and I was still very optimistic about it. I really do love the original series, and I do post some to my regular channel, and I post more on my Patreon. So if you're interested in that, check that out, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. I'm going over all the original episodes there, but I try to be fair and post a few on my regular channel if you're just not into Patreon, but you still want to, listen to some of that. I love the original series. Also, on a funny side note, I didn't so much notice it then because it was the first episode, but I sure notice it now. Product placement. Charlotte's hand, that's an Oscar de la Renta bag, and they so did that on purpose because we see Oscar de la Renta a few times in the series. So I want to say I just jumped in and loved this. I didn't love this. I enjoyed it. I was excited to be back to it, but you guys, they broke my heart on this episode. Okay, so first episode, wow, I actually was a little more truthful than I remember. I remember being a little more positive on this episode, but maybe not. But yeah, so they killed off Big, remember, and I was so bummed out watching that, and it just really messed me up after watching that. And also, Carrie's stupid hat messed me up. Okay. You guys, they killed off Big. And we knew that was coming, right? Like, they set it up the whole episode, but they killed him off in such a... we did... I don't know. I almost went... And I love the actor. I'm glad he's back, but I wish they had written him off before so we didn't have to go through this heartbreak. So I got a lot of shit for this comment, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people said, no, we needed to have him. We needed to see their last moments together, blah, blah, blah. No, we did not. Knowing what we know now and all the ways they tortured us, the viewers, and they were awful to the characters and put them through these depressing storylines, do we need this? Why couldn't they just kill him off before and have Carrie in the starting over part if they needed to, or maybe a little past that? It just added to the sadness, and I'm not really sure why. And by that, I mean, I know why I'm sad, but I don't know why they felt the need to torture us. Guys, it totally broke my heart. And, Stanford passed away in real life, the actor. So sad. And so seeing him on the screen, it just so sad. That is genuine emotion in my voice. I get really sad about the Willie Garson of it all, and I hate how they handled him leaving the show, right? And I watched this show to be happy and escape, and I know it doesn't always have to be happy, and it's not, but it was sad, right? Were you guys bummed? Do you hear my voice? I don't mean to be bummed, but I am. And who knew then that we'd get an entire season of being bummed out, and this was just the tip of the iceberg. This was just the beginning. Like, I just watched it and had to get on here and react. Okay, let's take a pause on the sadness and talk about the fashion, which also kind of made me sad. And what's funny is looking back, this is probably the happiest that they look throughout the series. Maybe the cheeriest outfits, even though I hate them. So they made a big deal about the hair. They talked about it 100 million times on the ladies. They call Charlotte out for dyeing her hair to keep it brown. Carrie says something about hers being ridiculous, and it's meant to look that way. I don't think it looks ridiculous. Future Jen back to say, I hate the hat. That's ridiculous. But this is actually the best her hair looks in the series because, I know it's fake, but they just start pulling it back in that god-awful bun over and over after this. We actually see it down and flowy, and I just thought it looked really pretty. Doesn't bother me at all. Charlotte's hair doesn't bother me, but don't even get me started on Wig. You guys, at the end of this video, I have an interview with Wig, and Wig has a lot to say. I think she looks beautiful. I don't know. I didn't quite follow where they're going with this. I understand that they're trying to say it's cool. Miranda has gray hair now. Let it go. Like, good for her if that's what she wants to do. But I'd also say good for Carrie. Future Jen here to say Miranda's being a judgmental bitch at the beginning, through the middle, throughout the whole series, and especially on the last episode. So definitely one theme that they continued throughout. She wants to wear this blonde hair. I think she looks fantastic as far as hair goes. Outfit, not my favorite. I've never quite understood Carrie's looks. I don't mean physical looks. I just mean the way that they dress her. It's fun. Sometimes it can be over the top. What's your Jen here? And I will say that I will take Carrie's original series looks, any single one of them, over these And Just Like That looks. The only look I can remember really liking from And Just Like That is that blue dress she wore on the date that she ended up barfing on. But even then, they had a big stupid coat over top of it, so it's kind of hard to see. They talk about Future Jen here. I don't always pay close attention to the pictures I've taken as far as what's on the screen, hence when I accidentally showed Harry's dong before I blurted out. But you guys, Carrie's face here, I did not mean to pause it on this face. It makes me laugh that I accidentally did. You know, hey guys, we're back. Oh gosh. Bitsy Von Muffling shows up and asks, where is Samantha? That's almost a Samantha voice. Carrie says, what is there to say? I told her because of the book business. Now it just doesn't make sense anymore for me to keep her on as my publicist. And because of that, she said fine and fired me as a friend. I don't know about this part either. Okay, Future Jen back again to say, clearly I was, it's my first episode. I didn't want to come out of the gate being negative. I was still optimistic that we had something good here. I didn't know. But, oh, what a shit show they did, right? It's awful. What a terrible storyline. What a terrible thing to do to her. And it just goes to show the cattiness of it all. I blame SJP and Michael Patrick Dickhead. I mean, I get it. They were trying to soften the blow for us. It didn't land right with me. I don't know what they could have done, in fairness, to make it better. But I don't know if I love how they should, I mean, I don't know if they should have killed her off or what, but I don't know if I loved how they handled this. I don't know if they're alluding. I just wondered if it was a subtle wink to the audience, like, hey guys, we do miss Samantha. And, you know, we tried to work it out and it didn't work out. So that's just my wondering. Lily and Burton the dog. Rose is her other daughter, and Harry. It's this whole thing about Lily's having a concert. That's what this episode's about. You know, I love when Charlotte and Harry got together on the main series and the whole planning the wedding with Anthony and tearing the dress. I just thought that was fantastic. So I always have a soft spot in my heart for Harry. Future Jen here. I had to pause this because it really made me laugh. I forgot all about this. HBO Max screwed up during this part and randomly put, I believe it's Spanish subtitles on. And I thought it was just me. I kept clicking the TV, but nope, I got a million comments that happened to all of you as well. What? Harry home, we got to see Mr. Big. I can't even talk about it. She talks about going to the recital, and then they're going to go to the Hamptons house. Okay. I feel like they just hurt us worse because they made a point of showing Carrie. She had originally planned to go to the Hamptons, right, with Big that night, but she put it off because she was going to. Future Jen here to say, Lily did it. Yep, Lily, the girl from the ring, took out Mr. Big. Go to this recital. I guess the idea being she could have been there to maybe do something or help save him. And then we see, of course, when it's time for her to leave, she tries to get a cab. She can't get one, so she takes her time walking home. It's just like a series of unfortunate events, right? But also, remember when Carrie had a storyline for like part of an episode and not just, my husband died? Okay, moving on. Oh, Miranda. Miranda was never my favorite, and this episode kind of sums up why. It's a lot, right? It's a lot. So she's joining this law group. Of course, she's been a lawyer, but she's taking classes at Columbia. She just puts her foot in her mouth every terrible way. She's not even recognizing that this is her professor. She's... Nope, Future Jen here. You know I had to comment on this one. So in effort to make her brave, they had to, and by they I mean the writers, had to write her as an idiot who's never talk to anybody that's the least bit different than her. It just doesn't make any sense. You've lived in New York how long? And you've never had a conversation with a person of color or never could wrap your head around somebody with braids being your professor? This is stupid. It's just one thing after another. She brings up her hair, and there's a lot of hair talk, and it's uncomfortable, and future Jen here to say I hate Miranda and her stupid wig. That's all. She's just making it worse and worse, and she's trying to apologize, but she's sticking her foot in her mouth, and it's just really cringy to watch, right? Then we go over to Carrie. Carrie's on this podcast, X, Y, and Me. Oh, the podcast. Our very first Che Diaz sighting. Oh, you guys, so bad. Such a bad show, right? Che is leading this podcast, played by Sarah Ramirez from Grey's Anatomy. And then we have Bobby Lee. I can never remember his name. Bobby Lee. So asking sex questions, talking about masturbating, that sort of thing. Talks to Carrie about it, who is flustered and doesn't really want to talk about it, right? So Carrie does write a sex column, but she says she's not raunchy. Che is saying you need to open up, which of course translates into later Che will be banging your best friend in your kitchen. Ew. If this is going to work, you need to open up. Then we go back over to Miranda, who is further embarrassing herself. And she sees her professor talking on the phone, and she's trying to apologize, tells her being in the class is very... Future Jen here to say, I should have added this to the list of seeds planted that made no sense. How did they go from, oh God, I want to avoid this crazy lady, to, let's be best friends. Let me tell you about my monthly cycle. It just doesn't make any sense. I know Miranda helped save her from a Chucky attack, but this is just stupid. Serious to her. She was in corporate law for 30 years. But she wanted to do more. She said wearing that pink hat isn't enough. Speaking of stupid, can we talk about the wardrobe here? Just awful. So she's trying, but it's just this professor's not having it. We go over to Carrie. Again, this is where Che rides down in the elevator and saying, give us more. I want you to dialogue with us more. We see Carrie back at home trying to write about masturbation. Ugh, the cringe heard around the world. Remember what happens with Big? I can't even. Let's just skip past this part. P.S. She's wearing stupid sparkle gloves because, sure. Rolling over in bed together, and then we go here where she says, hello, lover, to her shoes. We see the blue Manolo Blahniks from her wedding. Ugh, you guys. Can we talk about this? Did you feel it coming? I mean, I know they did it on purpose. Of course, we all felt it coming, but this was before I realized what shitty writing we had going on in the show. They kept lingering on Big. We knew what was going to happen, and it broke my heart. I keep saying that, but I don't know how else to say it. I really liked him on the show. I hate that they're killing him off. I know he had his issues back in the day, but I was always team Big. So he keeps talking about Allegra. Allegra is his Peloton instructor. So his plan is to stay home and do Peloton while Carrie goes to see this recital. At Charlotte's, there's some discussion about what will be worn to the recital. It's, obviously setting up for some stuff. We get to see Anthony. We haven't seen him, right? And remember, he's married to Stanford. So, again, speaking of break my heart, here comes Stanford. Oh, you guys, I hate this. Okay, so, of course, you all know, but the actor that plays Stanford unfortunately did pass away. Oh, man. He was so good on the show, right? I actually remember I was in Las Vegas. Gosh, it was years ago. I was in my 20s. I don't know. And I saw him. I saw him walking around. I didn't talk to him or anything, but I saw him. I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. Anyway, okay, so here's Stanford, and they're setting it up that Stanford and Anthony are arguing a lot. I just hated that even before, he passed and had to be written out of the show, they had him acting like an asshole. We go to Carrie and Miranda. They're just kind of keep saying they're in their 50s. They don't give an F anymore. So they go use the men's room. Again, before I realized how many ageist make you feel old jokes that they'd put in this stupid thing. It's a whole thing. They're at this recital. Miranda's drinking wine, which I kind of love that she pulled out purse wine. Yep, first episode. Didn't realize she had a drinking problem. Charlotte hasn't really changed. She's still a little bit stick up the butt, right? Oh yeah, I talked through this part earlier. So we're introduced to this lady, Lisa, who Charlotte knows through the music school that they're at, and they turn all the kids into demons. We never hear about Lily's music again. So I feel like she's going to play a part maybe later in the series. We keep cutting back and forth between Lily and her incredible piano playing and Big. Big is doing his peleton. The harder Lily plays, the harder Big rides, and then it starts to slow down and you know what's coming. I hate this. We see his arm is hurting. He's clutching his arm. Again, we know what's coming. Clutching his chest. He ends up dropping his phone in the shower and he can't get it. Ugh. So, but right beforehand, he was able to text Carrie, hey, let's go tonight, because she was trying to decide, should I go out for a drink with the girls or should I just go straight home? Again, future Jen here. This was before I realized what assholes the writers were and that they continued to torture us throughout the season. So they wanted to make sure that she saw Big die and do nothing about it. Because he was able to send that text, she was able to get home and at least, I guess, hug him goodbye. The part that bothered me here, guys, and this is tedious, I know, and I know it's a show, but I'm going to say it anyway. She saunters in, I'll say, right? And she sees him and can tell something's not right. And she takes a long beat before running over. And I know it's part of the show. Jen here. I hear myself apologizing and justifying. It's because I was getting a lot of hate comments at the time. But now you guys are wonderful. I get so much positive stuff. But I was getting hate because I was like, why didn't she run over there? But now that seems to be the party line. Why didn't she run over there? Get it. I'm literally yelling at my TV, call 911. This is crazy. She can see that he's in trouble, but I'm just thinking, like, call 911, do something. Get him. What, are you supposed to give him like a bunch of aspirin or something? I don't know. Oh gosh, you guys. Anyway, so it's a long, painful beat, and that's how the episode ends. Because they're mean, and this is how they wanted to do it, that's how they ended the episode. What a shit show, right? I mean, it's funny to hear the difference, though. I was tiptoeing around it because I was still so hopeful that things would work out and we'd have a good show on our hands and we get to see how these ladies progress. But nope, we didn't get any of that. Those jerks. Okay, I'm going to hand it back over to Singing for Whitney. Please do check out her page and hit that subscribe button. She's new. She's trying to get started out. She's fantastic. And so I want to definitely show her some love. But here she is with MPK Started the Fire. And it's probably my personal favorite. I love this song so much.
Carrie through Samantha shade, doing her a dirty way. You are not her ATM, how low can you go? Steve is 1 foot in the grave, lost more than a hearing aid. Justice for this man, he caught the teeth of the rambo. Acting like a robot, granny clothes without supplied. Summer, winter, no one really knows. Nothing's ringing, Charlotte's bell. The Snapple's giving off a smell. Pigs left dying on the floor. I can't take it anymore. MPK started the fire. Now my eyes are burning and my stomach's turning. MPK started the fire. Oh, I try to like it, but I can't abide it. Token prints for everyone. Sorry, no one's having fun, but we'll come to the toilet when you go. Lily needs to medicate. Harry loves to urinate. Rocky's rapping, you like it if you're woke. JD ashes everywhere. Someone help Miranda's here. She's knocking crazy on the door. This is too bad to ignore. MPK started the fire. Now my eyes are burning and my stomach's turning. MPK started the fire. Oh, I try to like it, but I can't abide it. MPK started the fire. Now my eyes are burning and my stomach's turning. MPK started the fire. It goes on and on and on and on. MPK started the fire.
From there, I do have to let you know that I got a very exclusive, amazing interview with none other but Wig. So this wonderful person, it's at Hobbs Wig on Twitter, has been so funny. I follow her and I do recommend that you follow her. She's so funny on her tweets, constantly making jokes about being the wig and how shitty she looks and all that. Just very funny humor. I really do dig it. Well, she made the most incredible video for us all, and I want to say thank you to her, so do give her that follow. And let's take a look and see what Wig has to say about all this, because Wig has a lot to say about a lot of things.
Hey everybody, my name is Wiggy, and I am here in the Carrie's apartment set that we use on this hit TV series, and just like that. Whenever I'm not sitting on Cynthia Nixon's head, they put me on this wig stand, or in a damp closet, or in a litter box. I am super excited today to hang out with Jen and answer questions for fellow fans of one of my favorite YouTube channels, Real Housewives Recaps. Jen asked if I could answer some questions about the hairstyles of this show. So the first thing you need to understand about this Sex and the City reboot, the reason for all of the decisions, whether it's writing or the costumes or the hairstyles or the bathroom humor, all decisions are made by one person and one person only, Michael Patrick King. I mean, the only reason this reboot, and just like that, was even made is because Mr. King scraped his ankle when the pedal from his Peloton bike fell off. That's right, this whole series was designed just to get back at Peloton and to sink that entire company. Now understand, Mr. King had to beg Cynthia Nixon to do the show. And by beg, I mean he had to ask more than one time, which Mr. King does not do. So Miss Nixon only agreed to do the show if he met her long list of super woke demands. She had an extremely long list of all the races and genders and topics she needed to see represented. But in this very long list, she forgot to include ageism. So Mr. King was like, okay, I'll play along with all the other requests, but I'm going to make these entitled actresses old AF in every scene. Like, I'm going to force these ladies to feel incredibly old all the time. And he wanted Cynthia Nixon to look like his grandmother and chopped her hair and gave her this gray coloring. So then Cynthia Nixon got cast in another show, The Gilded Age, and wanted to dye her hair to match the requirements of that character. And Mr. King got really pissed off. He was furious that he was paying Cynthia Nixon $1 million per episode, and she couldn't even be bothered to wear her hair the way he wanted her to. So he said, fine, let's make her wear this wig. Now, he had a decent wig made by the hairdresser of the show, Nicoya Yancey, who was also a master wig maker, by the way. But unfortunately, that wig was too attractive and got sexually assaulted, allegedly sexually assaulted by Chris Noth. Now, everyone is innocent until proven guilty, and I wasn't working with Chris Noth on set. But I do think we should believe all wigs. Hashtag believe all wigs. So after that debacle, Mr. King was like, F it, let's just get a wig from Party City and make her wear that. So here I am. I am the Granny Karen model from Party City, and I retail for $7.99 if you want to steal this look. Because, of course, ladies, who wouldn't want to steal this look? Now, Mr. King will work with Sarah Jessica Parker, and I think he likes her. But anytime she expresses an opinion that's different from his own, he definitely punishes her. He goes to Nicoya as if she's his personal henchman and tells her, make that bun tighter. I want to give Sarah a major headache. Like one day, Mr. King had on these designer shoes that he spent $6,000 on, and he was hoping Sarah Jessica Parker would notice them, and she totally didn't. And when he pointed them out to her, she just sort of shrugged because they weren't really her style. Like, oh my God, he was livid. On that day, he's like, let's find a really hot actor to play a plastic surgeon and talk about how old and hollowed out her face is. I mean, you guys will never understand how deeply vicious this man is. And don't let all of this woke nonsense, fool you. He's still really big into body shaming. He believes that all men and women should be super fit and sexy. When he was directing Sex in the City, he had a very strict no fatties policy. So he low-key doesn't really like Sara Ramirez, the actor who plays Che. Now, Sara is a very beautiful person, but clearly not a size 2, which pisses off Mr. King to no end. So one day, he saw Sara eating a hamburger and was like, Sara reminds me of that big boy hamburger kid. We should cut their hair to look exactly like the big boy hairstyle. He even got that costume lady Molly to create a red and white checkered overalls for Che to wear. But whenever Che was around in that outfit and Miranda had all of her checked and plaid patterns on, it was really visually overwhelming. Like the cameras couldn't even take that ugliness. So they had to keep Che in all of that black so all of Miranda's gaudy patterns can pop off, right? But they did still keep the haircut. So that's it. That's the dark and ugly truths about the hairstyles of this show. If you're smart, you'll be like Kristen Davis and do nothing but kiss Michael Patrick King's ass all day until he feeds you your Adderall. So thank you, Jen, for having me on your show. I love your recaps and reviews. Please follow me on Twitter @HobbsWig. Love you guys.
Thank you, Wig, for that wonderful video. I really appreciate it. I laughed all the way through it. You're fabulous. Thank you all so much for all the love and support. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed just getting to know each of you and talking to you. I have so many videos coming up, so stick with the channel. I'm sure I'm going to be covering something you're into, and if nothing else, I'm going to keep going with Sex and the City movies, so check those out. I'm going to be picking up Kim Cattrall movie, Mannequin, one of my all-time favorites from the 80s. I got all kinds of stuff coming out, so check that out. If you're into Patreon, check me out on Patreon. And if you're into my merch, check that out too, because I've sold so many of the Midnight Toast mugs, and thank you for that. Speaking of Midnight Toast, I got that coming out this weekend, so check that out, because I'm going to torture Jay and make him watch the finale episode, and I'm sure he'll have less to say about that. Thank you all so much for the love and support. I know I'm sending you all over the place. I will link the channels. I'll link Whitney's channel in the comment. I will mention that Twitter handle again for Miranda's wigs in the comment. I will try to shoot the link over from the article that has gone up. That's amazing, all about our community. I love it. I'll put that in the channel comments as well. So much. I'm so excited. Thank you all who have come out to live chat with me. It means so much, and I really sincerely appreciate every single one of you. Leave me comments below. Send me things at rhrcomments@gmail.com, and I hope you guys have the best day, and I will talk to you again soon. Writer's Room podcast coming out this weekend, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.